Welcome back, everybody. We're doing another quilted cow sewing tutorial today, and I'm your host, Stacy. We're going to be working on this really adorable gathering pillow, but before we get started on that, I'd like to give a quick shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Wilmington Prince, Husqvarna Viking, and Creative Grids. We're going to be working on this really beautiful gathering pillow, and we have designed it in the Wilmington Prince fabric Hydrangea Mist. This is such a beautiful, easy pillow to do, and you're going to love it. You definitely want to try this one out. It's very beginner friendly. It's going to teach you how to do some rouging on it, and then also the fabric material is just perfect for spring. Spring is just around the corner, and you're going to want to have one of these pillows on your sofa this spring. It's so beautiful. So remember that you can find this kit at thequiltedcow.com. So to get started, I've already pre-cut all of my materials that I needed. So I have my buckle fabric, my gather fabric, my top and bottom fabrics are here as well, and these ones were directional prints. So what's really great about this gathering pillow is that even if it's a directional print, you can work with it. We provide exactly what you need in your kit, so no worries there. Just pay attention to your cutting material. So that's my top, and then I have my bottom piece. I also have pressed my backing fabric in half wrong sides together, just to kind of get that step done and out of the way, so that you've got your nice double lined backing there for the envelope enclosure. So to start with, really we could begin anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and probably top stitch these backing pieces, get them done and out of the way, and then we'll begin with the pillow top itself. So I am just going to stitch. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. All right, now I've stitched that line going down the folded seam, and now I'm going to go ahead and create my top of my pillow. So you want to pay attention to directional fabric. This one is a directional print, and this is the bottom of my bag. So I'm going to lay it with the image facing right side up, and the image is from top to bottom correct. And I'm going to do the same with my butterfly piece. And then I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm going to line up those raw edges and clip them in place so that there's no movement whenever I'm doing my stitching. All right, now that that's all stitched together, I'm going to go ahead and press on the wrong side. Since this material is lighter on top than it is on the bottom, I'm going to press my seam down towards my darker fabric. All right, that is nice and pressed now. So I'm just going to lay this down and set it aside for the moment, because now what we're going to work on is our buckle material, which is this really adorable little square patch here. So I fussy cut this so that I could get this really pretty hydrangea in there, because I loved the material and the colors that Wilmington did. So I'm just going to fold this right sides together in half lengthwise, and then I'm going to press and stitch down that seam. And that'll help keep it together as I'm stitching, and then I'll turn it right side out and show you what to do next. Okay, so that's been stitched. We're gonna go ahead and turn it right side out. This is always a fun part of the project. This is so quick. You're gonna see it come together really fast. So as I'm pulling this apart, I want to keep note that when you are pressing it after you've stitched it, you're going to press it so that your seam lays down in the center of the fold and not to the side. That way your buckle has no seam in it, and it just looks really smooth and flawless. Nice and centered, give it a good press, and then it will be ready to fold in half. Now I'm just going to fold it in half so that my seam is on the outside and the smooth center is inside of this little loop that we're creating. I'm going to stitch 1/4 of an inch and then this will be ready to be set aside. Okay, so I'm just going to flip that over and set it aside for the moment, and now it's time to create the gather. So to do the gather, I'm actually going to need my iron quite a bit for this part of the project because we are going to be folding this entire long seam 1/2 of an inch over twice and pressing it both ways on each side of the long edge. So I'm just touching wrong sides together, and I'm going to give it a good press. I couldn't wait to show you all this pillow because I was so excited about spring fabric collections coming in, and this Wilmington Prince one is gorgeous. I love the watercolor technique that they do in their fabrics, especially on these pink and purple tones. They just call to my heart. Now that's all stitched, and we are going to be adding the buckle onto it now. Once the buckle is placed exactly where you want it to go, you're actually going to hand stitch it to the back side of this material. So I'm just gathering it in my hand and pulling this buckle on through the center. And I like to use my cutting mat to make sure that I've got it centered. I don't want it to be off at all. Okay, that's pretty good there. So I would be hand stitching this to the back side. So that would be the wrong side of the material is what you're going to be hand stitching it to. And then you're going to lay it on top of your pillow, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and baste stitch mine on the ends here because I don't want there to be any movement whenever I put my backing pieces on, because that is the worst when you get your project finished and then you flip it right side out and you missed some fabric. That happens so much with me. So I'm going to go ahead and clip these and baste stitch them, and then I'll be ready to put the backing on. Okay, so this is my pieced top. The gather is attached and it's ready to go. So I'm going to lay this on my table and I'm going to start putting the backing pieces on there. Remember, your backing is going to overlap on each side because it's an envelope enclosure backing. So I'm going to lay it so that all of the raw edges of the material are lined up with the raw edges of the top, and my folded stitched edge is on the center of the pillow. And I'm going to clip all the way around this because I don't want any movement when I am sewing it. And I also like to say to all of you to, when you're stitching over your envelope enclosures, always double stitch or back stitch, because when you're putting your pillows in there, you don't ever want to rip your work. So always keep that in mind, that you're double stitching over the envelope enclosures where there's going to be extra tension. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way around all 4 sides. You don't have to leave an opening because you already have one. That's how simple this project is. And when you're all done stitching, you're going to have this really, really beautiful spring floral Wilmington Prince fabric, and it is gorgeous. I love this pillow. Super simple to make. Don't forget that you can get it at thequiltedcow.com. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you again next time.
Okay, you wicked cool quilters, good job. You made it to the end. We would like to thank our sponsors, Husqvarna Viking Sewing Machines, Creative Grids, rulers, rotary cutters, and mats, and Wilmington Prince for the beautiful fabrics. Thanks for watching.